Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. And I am joined by a Chelsea fan to my right. And to my far right is Andy Miles, all the way from West Ham Reunited. And we are here to discuss the big clash at 12:30. And Tyron's got his shirt on, his Chelsea shirt on, like, loving life. Got Tyron here with me, big Chelsea fan. Go and check him out. I'll put some links in the description below. And yeah, he's doing some good stuff. But Tyron, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, really looking forward to getting into the West Ham. Unfortunately, surrounded by two West Ham fans, but what can you do about that? And yeah,
Do
excited
you
to get
feel a bit
into it.
intimidated being in the middle of two big guys? Maybe James should move you over that way.
I mean, I love it. I love it, to be honest. I love it. And yeah, just excited to get into it. So thanks for having me on the channel.
No worries, mate. No worries. Obviously, you're flying high at the minute, mate. How do you assess your season so far?
To be honest, I'd say perfect. I couldn't really expected it to go any better at all. Top of the league, possibly going through to the Champions League as group winners into the round of 16. Great player performances, academy graduates coming through. Everything has just been perfect so far this season, and it seems a bit too surreal. I think there's going to be some bumps in this festive period, as we saw in the Watford game. Don't know if you guys caught the highlights of that. It was a very, very tough away result, and this could be another tough game. So yeah, I mean, it's been good so far, but we know that this festive period is so unforgiving, and it really does decide if you're a pretender or you're a challenger.
Andy, what do you think? Have you got anything that you want to ask Tyron regarding Chelsea, mate?
Yeah, no. Like I said, like Chelsea, it pains for us to say you can't. It's not really a rivalry, is it? Like I think a few years ago, but like it was like London derbies you're always up for. But to be honest, they're a good side, mate. They're a very good side, and to be honest, it may surprise a few people. But if I had to pick anyone for the title, you'd want someone from London. Obviously, we was on Jake's show earlier, and it's so hard for a London team to win the title. The amount of London derbies, I think there's 16, nearly over nearly half the games are London derbies, which are a lot harder. But yeah, no, if you had to pick out of Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea, you'd want Chelsea to win it, and I think they deserve it. It reminds me of Mourinho of, was it 04-05 when you conceded like 18 goals all season?
It's 15 or 14. So
Yeah, whatever. But do you know what I mean? Wherever it was, I like that. Hard to beat, and they get the job done.
Thomas Tuchel, mate, genius, isn't he? Tyron, what's going on with him, mate? Because like he's just turned up out of nowhere, and let's be. I'm going to ask you this. I haven't spoken to you for a good while now. But when Lampard was appointed and then Lampard went, how did you feel about that? Because that's a legend at your club.
Yeah, I mean, the first season under Lampard was one of my favourite in many years. Just the connection with the fans and the manager and the team was incredible. The second season, we all knew the pressure was going to be cranked up after the £235 million spent. The season before was kind of like, we expect you to get top four. Nothing really more than that. It's going to be an okay season if you don't get top four. But the season after that, all the lights, all the pressure, all the cameras on Lampard to do something special with that talented group of German and Moroccan, all the talent we brought in the summer. And yeah, the period side, like I mentioned just now, the festive, unforgiving period after, I think we had a 16-game unbeaten run. And then there was a away loss to Everton that was a bit alarming. It was almost looked like we had no tactics whatsoever. And we thought, you know what, we'd had a great run of form. And then the Arsenal game came, the 3-1. I don't know if you guys remember that when Saka scored that crazy goal. That was another really alarming performance. We didn't look up for it. We were losing second balls. We just were crossing into the box. And then everything kind of started to unravel after that. The Wolves game away. The Leicester game was Lampard's last Premier League game, and the Man City game at home. I'll say the Man City game was probably the most alarming, because it honestly felt like Man City were absolute miles ahead of us, like miles. Despite us having spent 230 million, you'd think that we'd be up there with the big guns at that stage. But yeah, and honestly, after the Man City game, it was controversial, my take, but I am a Chelsea fan. I'm not a Lampard fan. Lampard is my favourite Chelsea player of all time, but I'm always looking at the best interests of the club, winning trophies, winning games, anything to do with the club, to be honest. And after the Man City game, I was saying, I don't want it to be ugly, but right now we're in an awful spell. We need to be getting top four at least. We need to bring in a more capable tactical manager. So I said that, and after a few games, he was gone. It was sad the way the club did it. They just had no kind of build up to it. It was the Monday morning after the win against Luton in the FA Cup, and all of a sudden he was gone. And I don't know if you saw the interview on the Overlap recently with Gary Neville and Frank Lampard. It's a really interesting watch if you want to see that out. And Lampard kind of said that he thought he was going to take training in the morning, but he was called into a board meeting, and just like that, he was gone. So that part was hard to take. But like I said, I knew it was going to happen. And what Tuchel's done right now shows that I think having a good manager is much more important than having a good squad, because they can get the best. Like you guys have had Pellegrini, who you think on paper is a great manager, but he didn't really get the best out of the squad. Same with the previous manager you had before that. So I think having a good manager is so much more important than having a good squad.
Yeah, 100% agree, mate. Andy, what do you make of Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, mate?
I'm not going to lie, mate. A few players, who, especially Mendy, and the fact that we were linked with him the summer before, was a surprise when they bought him. I thought it was a bit of a panic buy, but probably, in my opinion, probably the best goalkeeper in the league now.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Rudiger, top class centre half, right?
He's a changed man, isn't he? He's just a changed man. Like a year and a half ago, they wanted him out.
Actually, I have a question with. Well, Joan might have spoiled it for Joan with regards to Zuma, because I've got a few Chelsea fans at work, and they say Zuma was probably the best defender last year with Rudiger. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, if you're judging before the Tuchel change, when Tuchel came in, I'd say he was probably our worst centre-back. But when Lampard was in charge, he was by far best, in my opinion, because Rudiger couldn't get a minute, as you guys know. Christensen looked like he was going to depart. We didn't really have any other centre-backs. Tomori had to go to AC Milan. And, Zuma's last-minute tackles, his winning of aerial duels, his goals from set pieces, that made him our best centre-back alongside Thiago Silva. But, when Tuchel came in, we needed someone who was so comfortable on the ball, as someone who could spray out passes, who could look for long balls, and Christensen's done that superbly. And I'd say Tuchel didn't really favour Zuma, so it was in the best interest after the Champions League win to let him move on to a team that could give him game time.
Yeah, no, it's more in the midfield battle, like I mentioned earlier, Jones. You probably heard it. They reckon Jorginho will make it, so I reckon it'll be Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho in the centre because of the injuries, and I think that will be an interesting battle because Ruben Loftus-Cheek in both games for Fulham last year bossed Declan Rice, in my opinion. Literally 100%. run past him, and I think Declan Rice has gone to that next level since then. So I'm looking forward to that, and it wouldn't surprise me a couple of crunching tackles, James. What about you?
100% agree, mate. I really do. Dec's going to have to perform tomorrow, but he's up against Rufus, and he seems to always play absolutely phenomenal against Dec. Do you know what I mean? So, but let me ask you, Taron, what do you make of Declan Rice? Obviously, he was one of your boys. You let him go. We've made him into the player he is. Did Chelsea want him back? Really?
Yeah. Do you know what? I was one of the people to say when Lampard wanted Declan Rice, I wanted him so badly, even before last season. I watched the game, especially the one where you beat us 3-2 at the London Stadium back in the 1920 season, where Yarmolenko scored that last-minute goal. Declan Rice absolutely bossed it. I think for the second goal, he whipped it into Antonio's feet, and then he played out wide to Bone or something, played it in, and it was a goal. And Declan Rice absolutely bossed a team that were in flying form. We just beat Man City 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. We were playing great football, and we were absolutely outclassed in the middle of the pitch by Rice. And that was when I first started to take a lot of attention. And in the summer, we wanted Rice to centre-back. I don't know if you remember that. But I was saying 80 million for someone who only played youth football as a centre-back. Would we want that? I don't think it's capable. But right now and this season, you have to say he's been up there in the top 5 players in the Premier League. Simple as that. I think he's everything you want as a midfielder, as anything he can't do. Maybe a few more goals, you could argue. Apart from that goal he scored in the Europa League. If there was one tiny little tweak, you'd want him to maybe take more long shots, test the keeper a bit more. But his ball progression, he's always looking forward. He's always looking for the out ball. He's not playing it backwards often. He's so tenacious. He always wants the ball to feet. He's great in the air. He's basically developing into the perfect midfielder. And there's a reason he was in the Euro 2020 final team that bossed so many big nations. It's because he's a top-class footballer. Chelsea boy, another player from our academy that we let slip. It's painful to take, but right now you can't really complain with our academy, the output of players we have on our first team. So I'm sure if we gave Dec a bit more time, he could have got there. But then again, moving to a different club, he maybe got more game time, got more minutes to have the spotlight on him a little bit more to develop into a top player. So yeah, Declan Rice is up there in the top 5 players in the league, and Jorginho versus Declan Rice. It's always something on Twitter, so that'll be a good battle.
Yeah, that will be, mate. I must admit, and Andy can vouch for me on this. Declan's always puts in minimum 7, 8 out of 10 performance minimum, and that's even when he's playing bad. He's a phenomenal talent, and without him, and I do say this quite clear, West Ham's not there anywhere around there if Declan's not our captain and our leader. People strongly disagree with me on that, but he's the false. Do you know what I mean? But one player who has impressed me this year with you boys is Reece James. Andy, how impressed have you been with Reece James this year? I have.
Yeah, he's above Trent Alexander-Arnold. For ability wise, he started off the season great. I remember his goal he got at Arsenal. His delivery of the ball is just ridiculous. I can't remember what game it was. It was the Burnley game. Even though you played the balls, he was delivering into the box, and if Lukaku was there more often than anyone else, you probably would have had that game. Because I actually watched the full 90 minutes. Great talent. The one thing what he doesn't get his credit for is his pace. He doesn't get the credit, and what he can do is a couple of touches and whips the ball. No, very good player, but he's 75%. I don't know whether he'll get. But Chelsea, I've got some injuries, so I think he may play. But he's 75% at the minute. I've heard.
Taron, we've spoke Chelsea. We spoke how good you are. How impressed have you been with West Ham this year?
Yeah, I think to be in the top 4 by December speaks for itself, in my opinion. You could say that the top 3 have been far from the rest, which is true. But to be ahead of Arsenal, who have had a very good season since that first August month, to be ahead of Wolves, who've had a very good season, to be ahead of Leicester, to be ahead of Man United, who I know have been poor, but still being ahead of Man United in any season is enough to say for itself. Yeah, like I said, top 4 in December is not a fluke. If you're top 4 by October or maybe even the start of November, you can say international breaks has been maybe a good run of form, but it's shown the consistency. And I think the main thing for me is how you kept your players fit. Testament to all of the physio team and everything at West Ham, because my issue with West Ham at the start of the season was I think your top 11 is absolutely superb. It's good enough to really mount a challenge to get the Champions League places this season. But apart from that, the backup players, I don't know if they can do a good job as, for example, Masuaku compared to Cresswell. Are they the same kind of output in terms of assists and technical crossing?
You know how to push our buttons, don't you?
Yeah, just stuff like this I'm trying to say.
Don't bring Masuaku up. That's raw, Taron. But
yeah,
no,
I mean,
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Like that, just the injuries. I was just worried about that, but you've kept the players fit despite having Europa League. And people, the cliche. Do you remember Wolves? I think it was the 1920 season. They just had Europa League football and they finished 14th, and that was Nuno's last season. But this season for West Ham, they've maintained a consistency in the league despite playing every Thursday. With I see you would play your full strength teams in those games. So yeah, it's been an amazing season. You have a very talented front line. Your midfield is strong, and your defense, including Kurt Zouma, has gone up and elevated another level. And yeah, it's been a very good start to the season.
I've got to admit, mate. When we was linked with Kurt Zouma, I was like, I don't know because
I was happy. James can vouch for me. I was buzzing.
Andy was happy. I was like, I don't know. I see him at Everton on loan. I remember him going on Stoke on loan, and I was like, I don't know what we're going to get here. Are we going to get someone who's really clumsy? But I must admit, since he's arrived, he's had one game which I can say he's a bit shaky, and probably the last game. Other than that, he's been phenomenally good, and like surprisingly good. And it's like there's levels to defence, and we was at level there, and he's up there, and he's just pushed us on massively. Obviously, looking at it tomorrow, who do you fear from West Ham tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I can name a whole list of players right now, but in terms of the attackers, I wouldn't say I fear defenders or midfielders, in my opinion. I think, they're amazing players, but do they strike fear? I'm not quite sure. I'd say from the attack, there's something about Said Benrahma. He will be fit tomorrow, just confirm, right? Get into that. He will be fit. Just something about Said Benrahma. I just have this, I know it's crazy to say, but this Eden Hazard kind of vibe about him. He has a very low balance. He's a great dribbler. He always takes people on. He has something in him. It's like almost on FIFA, you see this trait. It's like a flair play or something like that. He has that trait about him, and our defense at times can lose concentration, as we saw in the Watford game where Rudiger got caught, and we have Marcus Alonso playing. So if Benrahma will be on the same side as Alonso, and he can really exploit his poor pace, his poor defensive ability, his need to go forward all the time and leave room at the back, I think Benrahma has that way to unlock any defense in the Premier League. I know this season he has gone up way further than he was last year. He's upgraded his level. But there's going to be one game very soon where you see Saad Benrahma against a big team, and everyone in the Premier League will take notice. All the fans, all the teams will say, yeah, he's finally hit his potential that he was hitting in BMW 4-3 at Brentford. And he does have in his locker, he has everything you really need to be a Premier League footballer, in my opinion, to be a top Premier League footballer. You have something to unlock these really, really solid, kind of strong defenses. He has everything you need: pace, dribbling, maybe not the end product right now, but just something about his skill and his way to beat most defenders in the league. That strikes fear into me. And I think Alonso or whoever's marking him has to be on their game, because if they don't, he can literally run past 3 players if he wants to. He has in his locker to curl a shot into the top corner or unlock the whole defense with a crazy pass. He has it in him. I say it's just his attitude, and he just needs to keep going for it, because with talented players, you don't always get the same attitude, but he needs to keep his feet on the ground and really, really make a statement against Chelsea tomorrow. Because if he does, the European champions, then is there anyone that's really going to doubt him?
Yeah. Do you know what? What you just said there is bang on, mate. I've been backing this geezer up from minute one from Saad Benrahma, and the problem is that with the West Ham fan base is they've got their favourites, and like some people like their favourites. Then some people won't criticise their favourites. Now, he's one of my favourite players, Benny, but sometimes he deserves criticism for some of the stuff he does do. If he don't play well, he deserves criticism. But yeah, I'm with you on that, mate. If he turns up tomorrow and he's on it, that side is key, especially with Alonso there. If Alonso does play, so
I fancy him against Azpilicueta as well, because I've seen Azpilicueta. He's been probably one of the best servants, probably. Well, since Zabaleta, really, for like fullbacks in the league, like he's got that stature. But I think playing against trickery, I think he's like pace is all right because he's got that experience to give him the half a yard or force him wide. But with Benrahma, he's both footed and he could have some joy, in my opinion.
100% agree, mate. I really do. Right, I'll move on to Andy. Who do you fear?
Lukaku. He loves West Ham. If the amount of, I think he scored more goals than flipping. It's ridiculous. I can't remember what run it was. I think it was 11 straight games. I think with goals against us for all the clubs. But for me, Diop needs to come in. I've said it all the time. If he pulls onto Dawson, we're in trouble. One touch and he's gone. Which Diop's obviously got that bit of pace. But I'm looking forward to the battle of Mount as well. Mount against Creswell and Zuma. He got a great goal again the other night. But I can't say I'm not fearing anyone. But yeah, it's Mount, Lukaku, Havertz as well. I've always been a big fan of. And it will be Reece James. But I think Bowen and Soufal will have a lot of joy against Alonso. I mean, it's about us pushing them back. And the midfield, I was nervous after the Brighton game, but I just think a London derby and the crowd's got to pay its key. I still think we'll win. Obviously, it's with my West Ham hat on as well. I think it'll be, like I said, I think it will either be 2-1 or 3-2, but it'll be a very good game.
Yeah, and that leads me on to predictions time. Andy's obviously just said his prediction of 2-1 or 3-2. So what are you going with, Andy?
Going to go 3-2. Zoom and Rice to score. I don't know who's going to get the other one.
Right. Taron, what are you going with prediction-wise tomorrow, mate?
Just before, I think we're absolutely amazing away from home this season. We've only conceded 1 goal from open play, and just something about that's making me feel like it's a 2-0 win for Chelsea. We have a lot of key players fit for this game. It's just that Alonso, if we can fix our Alonso problem, I think we'll be coasting in this game, and it could be 2-0. And just before I leave, I wanted to ask you guys a few questions if you have the time before the game. Is that right? I just wanted to ask you, what is the way to beat West Ham? Because it's been hard to beat West Ham. You drew to Brighton. you lost City. What is the key way that you think a team can unlock it and beat West Ham? Either of you can.
I think just to start off, and I'll hand it over to Andy. When teams play an extra man in midfield, they go straight through us, and it proved it the other night against Brighton. West Ham have got this, and David Moyes, for how well he's done, and it's not knocking Moyes, and Andy will probably agree with me on this. He's very stubborn in his ways. Like, he sticks to his same formation every game, all the time, and I think an extra body in midfield. As our teams get around us, I think when teams play 4-2-3-1 against us, I think we're fine because we've got two really good DMs and they can get about the pitch. But I think if someone plays 3-4-3, which you boys will probably do tomorrow, that's where that's where we get found out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? What do you think, Andy, on that question?
Probably pace. If Reece James plays tomorrow, I think I am going to be more worried. Especially Creswell's done well this season, but Reece James will be pushing him more and more back. And Jorginho, he's obviously Champions League winner. What was it? Euros winner. He knows how to win and he knows how to get them passes through. And if he's unlocking them balls into Lukaku, do you reckon Havertz will play tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's going to start because he had a great game against Watford and Tuchel was...
yeah, it's just Ziyech is the one what worries me. But even though he scored, obviously, coming on, I think I'd fear Ziyech as well. But you never know. You never know with Tuchel either. He's not afraid to make a change. But what I fear more, I'd rather Lukaku start than come off the bench. He's only played 20 minutes. I'd rather him play an hour and be knackered than come on and rip us apart, if that makes sense. I think because we'll be more tired. So I think that's where it'll be won and lost. I think
there's a lot of decisions tomorrow that's got to go for us if we're going to get something out of this game. Lukaku, if he does play or comes on, has to play poor because every time he plays against us, he turns into like prime Lewandowski. But the thing is, when you just said about teams, how the teams get through West Ham. For me, Andy's put now on the head, really, bang the nail on the head. It is pace, and we don't do well against pace. We've got good left back and right backs, but when teams put balls over the top, we haven't got no pace. Like when you got Craig Dawson at the back, you're literally. I know he's a good backup defender, but he shouldn't be a starter at West Ham. He really shouldn't.
Yeah. You say that pace gets down the back. Like the back of you, it can affect you. But what is I've seen a lot of West Ham, but I'm sure you guys watch a lot more than me. What is your style of football? We know, from what I know, it's counter-attacking. It's just playing on second balls and playing with individual brilliance. But what would you both say? We'll start with Andy. We'll start with that. What is your
you've put the nail on the head, mate. Yeah, it's counter-attacking. But the difference is our front four, apart from the last 2 or 3 games, have been punished. Literally, you give us a chance. But it's set pieces. Literally, obviously Liverpool, you probably saw it, even the other night. Our set pieces are like penalties. Literally, they're on the money and they're unplayable. And that's where, if you are a betting man, James is as well. We probably saw it earlier. Zuma's gone up to 20-1 on Sky Bet to score a header tomorrow. I'm backing that 100%. If he pulls onto the back post, I don't think anyone's stopping him. But yeah, it's set pieces and counter attacking, and that's the way. We still play good football when we have the ball. We can mix it up, and I think that's the difference. Everyone says about the West Ham way. That's long gone for me. That we played the West Ham way under Pellegrini and nearly got relegated. I like the way we play football now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what Andy just said there. Every sort of word for word. We are a counter-attacking team. We're a sort of team that absorbs pressure, and then what we do, if we can break up the play like we're from Declan or Souček, straight out to the wide players, and away we go. And that's going to be key tomorrow because I know Chelsea are going to have a lot of the ball. Chelsea are going to have all the possession. We've got to, when they do turn the ball over, we're going to have to be out and gone. And hopefully we can catch us on the break. But it's going to be tough because, as we've just said, you've got a lot of pace in your team, especially at the back.
And yeah, that's interesting because that's the way to beat us as well. Juventus did it easily. They attacked us with Chiesa on the break, and do you know our team is really, really unsharp. I don't know what is the word for that. Kind of not sharp right now. We're playing every 3 days away, back to back. Rudiger is absolutely done at this stage. You saw in the Watford game, he looks absolutely tired. He's gone with Germany. He's come back. He's gone to Leicester. He's gone to home to Juve. He's gone away to Watford. He's knackered. So I think if you can counter-attack our lack of match sharpness, and Alonso especially.
See, that's my concern. Is obviously you've probably heard, and I'm going to be the one to admit it. Mikel Antonio, since the last international break, has been dreadful. Well, he's got a goal against Tottenham, but he's not really offered us nothing. But I've just got this funny feeling that he'll turn up tomorrow. He will literally bully the hell out. And if he takes two of where you play a back three, if he takes two of you out the game, Fornell's Ben Rama, I think can cause some damage.
Man, he didn't play that last game, did he? The 1-0 win before. It was like Lingard centre forward or something. That's what it is. We haven't.
The last time we played you, though, especially at the LS, I thought we was dreadful. I thought Chelsea played well, but Chelsea didn't really have to get out of second gear when you beat us 1-0 last season. And
just if you don't mind, one more question before you want about to. Is that right? What would be your predicted lineup for tomorrow for West Ham? What would you both say is your predicted lineup? I'll say mine with Chelsea if you want.
I'll let Andy. Go. That's all right, mate. I'll let Andy go with the predicted lineup, and I'll say yes or no if I agree on that.
I'll do what I want, but I don't think it will. But this is what I would do if I was David Moyes. That might be easier. Probably be Fabianski in goal, back four of Soufal, Diop, Zuma, and Creswell. Rice and Souček holding, Bowen on the right, and I think I want Ben Rama to play. But I've got a funny feeling Moyes will try and make a statement on James. I don't want him to, but I think Lanzini may play. It's either Fornells or Ben Rama will get dropped, one of them, because Lanzini coming off the bench has been outstanding. But I think with Fornells' work rate, I can't see him getting out. But like you said, I don't want this to happen, but I think it will be Lanzini behind Antonio with Fornells. But then thinking about it, I think this may be the kick up the arse what Ben Rama needs. If he sees he's dropped and he comes on with 30 minutes to go, he could unlock it. James, do you know what I mean? I think either way, I think it's going to be an exciting game. I'm actually buzzing. I'm leaving my house at 8:30 tomorrow to go to the game. So yeah.
Well, this would be my predicted lineup that I think he's going to go with. I don't think he's going to change anything himself. If I'm really being honest, I think it'd be Fabianski in goal. I think Kufal will play right back. You take Ben Johnson's place at right back. You have Zuma, Dawson, and if Cresswell's fit, Cresswell comes in and plays. Souček and Rice as your two are holding midfielders. I think Fornells will slip into a third midfielder. So, slip in as a 4-3-3 system. And we will have a three-man attack with Bowen, Ben Rum and Antonio. Because what we do need, I know Lanzini's great, but there's two question marks with Manuel Lanzini. One, can he start from the front? And two, he hasn't got any pace to breakaway pace. He can run, but we're going to be up against it and we're going to need to come out fast if we're going to counter-attack fast. So I'm unsure of Lanzini. Does Ben Rama deserve to be dropped? Possibly, but it's one of them ones. You pick your best team against the best team in the country at the minute. So, do you know what I mean? So for me, that's what the team will probably be. Give me your predicted team, Taron.
Yeah, I'll do that in a sec, but just a few. That's interesting. You dropped the Craig Dawson for this game. What's the thought process behind that? And also Ben Johnson. A little bit about Ben Johnson. Interesting.
I think what it is with Dawson, and I'll let Andy go with Ben Johnson. I think what it is with Dawson is pace. Okay. You need someone who's going to be pacey at the back, and for how good Dawson is, in me and Andy's opinion, he's not got no pace. So if a ball goes over the top, and say for example Lukaku's on the pitch, just for argument's sake, he ain't going to get there, mate. And Issa's makes some mistakes, but at least he's athletic and he can get back, and he's very good at recovering. So yeah, that'd be it for Dawson. What would you say for Ben Johnson, Andy?
He's played a lot of football, to be honest. Like when Soufal got injured, obviously he got that horrible injury from Matic, and and stuff like that. He sort of, but Johnson was outstanding. But Man City, he got found out. Well, you can't say that. Well, and that's what I sort of fear. I think playing against the lesser sides, I think he can play. He can afford to, but then he went to on Brighton on Wednesday. He played left back and he didn't offer us anything. But I think Soufal's the better player defensively. But yeah, he's been a good servant. But I think he's probably played 8 out of the last 9 games, full 90 minutes. So I think it's just catching its toll, really.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know mine now. Predict the lineup. Yeah, I was just interested in Johnson because I think he's a great player. But yeah, I'll start with mine. Probably Mendy in goal. There was a slight ankle problem when I went to the Watford game. He was kind of limping on it, but yeah, I expect him to start this game. Back 3. I think Thiago Silva won't play this game. He's played too many minutes recently. At his age, I don't think he'll start. It'll be Andreas Christensen, Azpilicueta right centre back, which hasn't happened a lot, but we're short on centre backs right now. And Rudiger, like I said, that could be a way for you guys to...
Is Chalobah a bad injury, or is it just a little knock?
Luckily, I saw a report from Nazar Cancelo, who's a really reliable Chelsea journalist. He said he'll be back in before late December, so that's really, really promising.
He's a great player. He's a great player.
He's great, and he's just played too many games, like I said, before hamstring injuries happened with our style of football.
Because he got moved into midfield, didn't he? And then that's when he done it.
Yeah, he got moved into midfield, and there was some near counter-attack where cleverly could have scored. And then, our system is basically a really bad thing for our players' muscle injuries because it just causes all these unneeded injuries where we just press too much, we run around too much. But yeah, right wing back Reece James. There was talk that he wasn't going to be fit for this game, but Tuchel cleared it up today. He'll be for this game. It hurts me to say it, but left back, I have to go for Alonso purely because we have no one else. We only have a month left till we can go back into the window. But right now,
he's great going forward, but defensive is like Masuaku, who's a liability.
It's not even going forward anymore. He's just too slow to play off our style of football. As simple as that. Watford literally targeted 3 or 4 players on their side just to attack Alonso in that game. Emmanuel Dennis had a field day. So yeah, Alonso, unfortunately, will be starting this game. It hurts me to say it. The interesting take I'm going to make, because I don't think Lukaku is going to start this game. I think he'll make an impact from the bench. I think Kurt Zuma would absolutely nullify Lukaku, in my opinion. His strength, man marking him, you wouldn't even win aerial duels against him. So I think off the bench, when you're tiring and Zuma's maybe had a bit too much to run around, my front three would be Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz, and Mason Mount. That's what I'm going to go for in this game. Ziyech has been great off the bench, scored the winner against Watford. He was great against Leicester off the bench, and Juve at home was his best game. Havertz was man of the match versus Watford, and Mason Mount was superb. So Lukaku will be coming off the bench to rattle you guys a little bit, but he won't be starting, I don't think. So yeah, he's still.
What did he do when he come on for 20 minutes? Was he lively or not really?
I mean, it was difficult because Watford were pressing so high, and he's not really great on the break. But yeah, he rattled their defense a little bit, and they couldn't deal with it. And we started to play a bit more direct instead of to the sides and crossing it in. So yeah, I think off the bench he'll rattle Kurt Zuma a little bit, but starting, I think he would do nothing, in my opinion, because I know Zuma like the back of my hand, and he pockets big strikers like that.
Yeah, I hope so, mate. I hope Lukaku don't get on the bus tomorrow. That's what it is, mate. Because every time he plays against us, he scores. But Taron, what's your prediction for tomorrow, mate?
Sorry, what's your next game? Have you got Champions League, haven't you, this week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zenit away in Russia.
Is that a must win or not? Or are you done now?
Yeah. If we want to finish top of the group, then it's a must win. We have to win.
Okay, so that might play into our hands then as well if he's thinking of the Champions League. I know it's still quite far away, but it'll be interesting. Like you said, you've got your predicted. You never know, do you? When we're sort of done, we're qualified, so it's not really a must win for us. So maybe it's a little bit of consideration. So I'd be interested to see that as well. Actually,
it will be. Now you've just said that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've just said that about Zenit. It's interesting to see if they are going to go out all gun blazing against us. Do you know what I mean? They might sit there and say it's. Can I see Chelsea going 100 mile an hour trying to win this game? I can see them at the start, but if there's 20 minutes to go, then maybe they might just go, you know what, we get out of here with something and move on.
I reckon it'll be if we get an early goal, we won't keep pressing. We won't. We'll just kind of keep the ball. You know, like we do so well. We just keep the ball, toy with teams, and we'll conserve our energy because that's what Tuchel does so well with the game management.
Yeah, he's the way he beat us last year. I still remember that now. But Tyrant, give me your prediction, mate, for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think 2-0 to Chelsea. Yeah, we keep clean sheets well, and away from home, we don't concede. Simple as that. And I know what it's like to be in the Chelsea away end. I went to Leicester away. It was absolutely amazing. And the fans really do guard the team up to do well. So 2-0 to Chelsea.
Are you going tomorrow?
I'm not. I couldn't get tickets. They're London games. You need we have a loyalty point system. So you need 80 loyalty points, which is a lot for the away games. And for a home game, if you go to a Carabao Cup game, you earn 5 loyalty points. So imagine how many you'd have to go you'd have to go to what 14 Carabao Cup games to get a ticket like this. So unfortunately, I couldn't. But yeah, I went to Watford on Wednesday, so that was good.
Nah, that's all right, mate. I'm going to go for a draw in this game. I think it's another draw for West Ham. I don't know why, but I think we're going to be up for this one because we haven't played well. Chelsea are coming to town. It's always a big game, and I think we might get out of there with a draw. I don't think we're good enough to beat you. Do you know what I mean? And people say, "Oh, you can't be negative." I'm not being negative. Chelsea are a very, very good side. Do you know what I mean? Defensively, and as you've rightly said, you've only conceded 1 goal away from home. I think it is. So for us to go and beat us, we'd have to play literally better than Liverpool. Right? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going for a draw. I think we might score first, you score, and then we'll see it as a 1-1 draw. Taron, thanks for coming on, mate. I really do appreciate your time, mate. You're a top lad. You're doing some good things. And anyone who's watching this now, go and follow him on Twitter. I've put the stuff in the link and everything. And you're always a pleasure, mate. And I would wish you good luck. I don't mean it. I want you to get hammered tomorrow, but you know what I mean. For me, I can see Chelsea winning the league this year. I think they're the best team in the league all round. And I think the only way Chelsea don't win the league is if they get massive injuries all over the park and Champions League starts appearing. Do you know what I mean? And they start looking at Champions League more than the Prem. So, but I do think yous are the best team in the league, and I think yous will get it done really
Better
well.
than Liverpool, would you say? Better than Liverpool?
Yeah.
All
round.
All round, 100%.
If you had done a combined 11, I think you'd probably edge it. Probably still like 7 to 4. I think even combined 11.
Wow, thank you. Appreciate
it.
No,
but if you had to pick, I know because you won the Champions League or Premier League. What if you had to pick one now?
This season.
Yeah.
Premier League.
Yeah.
That's a big statement. But I want to win the league because it shows you're the best team. 38 games, you can't fluke it. The Champions League wasn't a fluke, but I don't really care to win it back to back. I want to win the league, and it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Well, maybe in 2074, West Ham might do something like that, but not at.
I'm going to have to get someone to put it on our gravestone. I think on my gravestone when we win it.
Yeah, there'll be flying cars all around, mate. Flying cars and everything. You know what I mean? But no, listen. Thanks for coming on, lads. I really do appreciate both your times.
No, your pleasure, mate.
And it's been a thoroughly enjoyable preview. Everyone who's been watching this. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It goes a long way. It helps me out greatly. I'll be back again soon with a afterthought on tomorrow's game. Hopefully, I'll be smiling or I'll be crying, one of the two. But we will find out. And yeah, take care, everyone. All the best, and come on, United.